Hi, I'm Darren Waldo with WideOpen Broadcasting, and alongside of me is Egeler Designs' Billy Egeler, and we're here in Week 4 of the racing season at Cedar Ridge Speedway, Week 3 of points racing. Billy, weather right now is looking to be a factor. We've had a lot of rain come in. It's not only impacting us, but it's impacting a lot of the tracks in the region. What are we looking at as far as probability of some weather?
Well, right now the radar is showing us looking pretty clear for now. Looks like a little bit of rain maybe moving in later on this evening, but it looks like we should be able to get the program in before the rain hits us.
And this is just one of those situations at a track where it's a 50-50 call earlier in the day, are we going to be able to go or not? You know, car count could be impacted on that, but it looks like we should have a pretty good show.
Yeah, we'll have a good show. The car count is a little bit light. The crowd will be light. It's a no-win situation for a race promoter and a racetrack. It's a situation where if it looks like rain, the people probably won't show up. But it's something you got to take a chance on. If we could have made a call at noon or 1 o'clock knowing it was going to rain this evening, then yeah, it would have been a good move. But it never started sprinkling here until after 4 o'clock this afternoon.
This week, point standings came out from UMP in all the different divisions. A lot of heavy hitters have been here at Cedar Ridge so far during the season. Trent Young, last week's feature winner, sitting third in the nation right now, first in the region. Tyler Nicely, fourth in the nation, fifth in the region, and he's a 16-year-old. A lot of people need to remember that kid's fourth in the nation, and he's 16 years old.
Yeah, Trent is a heavy hitter everywhere he goes, but Tyler, this is his second year in a modified. Ran 1 year in the E-Mod, moved into the Modifieds, and this is his second year. An outstanding job by him and his team, and like we spoke last week, they're one of the teams from the region that's actually traveling across the country chasing these national points. Not really focusing on them right now, but in the position they're in, it's something they're going to be looking at real hard.
Right, and for fans who may not understand how the points work, basically if you've got a higher car count, I believe it's over 10 cars in the field, add 30 points to your total. Is that how it goes?
What it is 10 cars gives you full points. So say you get 60 points to win. I'm not sure the exact number. Anything over 20 cars, you get a bonus point for each car additional over 20 up to 40 cars. So you've got a possibility of gaining an additional 20 points on a big show. Like Tri-State Speedway will have 40 cars most of the time on a weekly show there. That's a place that a lot of the guys will go and run that are trying to chase these points.
And how does the point situation work? Get to the end of the season, there's a certain number of points races that counts for you, and then you can sub some out?
Yeah, in the modified you get 30 nights, so you can run 10 weeks, 3 nights a week if you wanted to get your 30 nights in, and then after that 30 nights, they start replacing your worst finishes. So if you have a 5th place run and you go out and run second after you've had 30 races in, that second place run will take the place of that 5th place. I mean, they'll start replacing, which will bring a lot of the guys that are lower in the nation and the regions right now up to the top if they've had a bad start to the season.
And, of course, the car counts at tracks definitely impact how well when you're chasing points, going around, looking at what tracks to race at. And speaking of that, we've had quite a few of the top cars in the nation running here at some point in time. Early in this season, I believe I counted up 16 out of the top 100 drivers in the nation. I believe there are over 1,500 drivers signed up, so 16 out of the top 100 have been here.
Exactly, and that's something we see almost every year. The bash naturally helped that count out a little bit, but you can't say enough about our weekly guys. The guys that run here weekly are always strong and always up in the nation and the region. Bryce Boone sitting 49th right now in the nation. You've got Chad Boone who won the bash. He's 60th in the nation, and those are a couple of guys. Bryce in particular will run 2 nights a week. Chad tries to run 2 nights a week when he can, but there's another situation where funding plays an issue.
Yeah, and we've talking about Bryce. He's one of those guys right now. He's just waiting for things to start clicking. I believe they replaced their motor, put their Mullins engine in, the new chassis. So they're just waiting for things to start clicking. They haven't really had that success that they're expecting, but making some changes, getting the car shook down should help them out. Chad Boone, another guy who's had some mechanical issues over the past couple weeks, should be a guy that we see up in the front of the pack within the next couple weeks.
Yeah, we're starting to get to the point where the tracks are going to start going to the black slick side, and you'll start seeing the drivers start to shine, the ones that can finesse their car on the slick track versus hammer down on the wet track. You're going to see them start coming to the top.
limited modified class, Haley Westerfield leading the nation right now. She's been here every single week. She's raced 9 events so far this year. She's had 3 victories, and 8 out of those 9 races she's been in the top 3 when it comes to the end of the feature.
Yeah, she's a tough competitor. Again, I believe this is her second year in an E-Mod, and doing a tremendous job, and has a lot of experience behind her with her father.
Yeah, he definitely is a huge asset for her. Next week, rolling in, we'll have the Cruiser Special. Should have a pretty good car count for that, and that's another one of those beginner classes or a lower-level class where guys are getting into the sport, or they just don't want to have the big expense of tires and engines and things like that.
Yeah, the Cruiser division is probably one of the best divisions you'll see in this region. It's a lower budget type of class, but great racing action side by side. Cars, a lot of them are right there together all the time, and it's a hobby class. I mean, that's what it's there for. The guys that want to race, that want to have a faster car but can't afford to go to the limited modified or the modified or the street stocks or limited late models. It's a good level playing field, and this special next week should be huge.
Last week we had the Rusty Bolt Special. Fuzz Davis, does he go by Fuzz?
Yeah, Fuzzy Davis. That's his nickname, and that started way back when he was a little kid. So I mean that's an old name, but he was able to survive the carnage, and that's basically what we had in that event. If you hadn't seen the DVD yet. Yeah,
11 cars started the feature, 2 finished. So, and there was it was a pretty tight back in the pack, a little controversial. I know some of the drivers were upset with each other. You're going to have that on a bull ring like Cedar Ridge.
Yeah, you'll have that. It doesn't matter what size track. I mean, if you saw the Tony Stewart interview last week from Talladega, I mean, that was pretty comical. But, you'll have that at any racetrack, and it's a lot of times it's a deal where what happens on the track, it stays at the track, they'll leave, and everything's fine the following week.
All right, so Billy, Monday nights, where can we catch you on the radio? Because I know you do a radio show every week.
Yeah, it's kind of a cool deal. I've been doing it for about 12 years now. Monday nights from 6:30 till 8 p.m. on 93.9 WKTG out of Madisonville, or at WKTG.com on the internet. Radio Goes Racing. It's an hour-and-a-half radio show about local and regional racing, something that nobody else really has in the area. An hour-and-a-half show. I mean, there's other shows. Spivey Williams has one out of Bowling Green on D93. Malcolm West in Owensboro on 92.5 on Tuesday nights. So there's plenty of radio shows to listen to, but we have an hour and a half to talk about racing and interview all the drivers and promoters, and encourage everybody to check it out. It's a really cool deal.
Yeah, I live in Bowling Green, and actually I downloaded the app for my iPhone and was able to listen on my iPhone down in Bowling Green a couple weeks ago. And it's a great deal. You guys have a lot of good drivers on there, a lot of local guys telling their side of the story or getting their sponsors plugged out there.
Yeah, and that's another cool thing is it's not just about one track. It's about any type of motorsports, whether it be motorcycles, drag racing, dirt track racing, asphalt racing. We try to cover each and every one of them. And something you mentioned there, brand new this year, you can download the app for your Android or iPhone right there off the App Store. So, I mean, it's kind of cool to be able to travel around and listen to us anywhere in the world.
So who helps make a weekly show here at Cedar Ridge possible?
Well, we talk about it all the time. But you got to thank the people that actually work here at the track. We've got an outstanding crew that's here week in and week out that works not only on race day, but, working throughout the week. And a lot of people don't understand, as a promoter, a track manager, a track owner, you've got to work 7 days a week for a one-night race. A special thanks to all those. A special thanks to all the fans that come out, man. They're always here supporting the track. The racers, they can go anywhere in the country and run, but they come here to race with us, and we appreciate each and every one of them. And the sponsors, naturally, Parkway Auto and Tire, Green River Lodge, QP Media, StarTech Recycling, sponsor of our Rusty Bolt division, Chad's Towing, Thrifty Nickel Classifieds out of Owensboro, O'Brien Implement Sales, Suburban Carpets, Ashby Flooring, Auto Smart, WideOpen Broadcasting, Dennis Paint and Body, Bluegrass Check Advance out of Litchfield, Raceaholic Racewear, and check them out at raceaholic.net, and Ingram Trucking helps out here at the Speedway as well.
And let's head down for qualifying.
Thank you very much. We look forward to seeing you next week. UMP Open Wheel Modified qualifications on the track. First car out, car number 37L. He's out of Cromwell, Kentucky. For hometown flooring, Chris and Carter Leach, Hogue Engines, Lightning Chassis, and Pizza Kings, it's Robert Leach. Rob
Leach. Good lap going for him. Out of turn number 4, he'll stop the clock on the front straightaway. 16.393, 16.393 in the lap for Rob Leach. Coming out now in car number 11, he's out of Greenville, Kentucky, sponsored by Egeler Designs, Hopeless Race Engines, Larry Shaw Race Cars, Integra Racing Shocks, KBT Graphics. It's Cody Toms in the 11. $16.907 on the line for Cody Toms. Out now in the OJ out of Madisonville. He's sponsored by Bud's Harley Davidson, Toyota of Hopkinsville, New Horizon Realty, Quick Change Oil and Lube, Valvoline. It's Bryce Jewell in the OJ. $16.492 in a lap for Bryce Jewell. Rolling out next to be car number K37. He's out of Utica, Kentucky. It's McKinney Wright Racing, Hurst Racing Carburetors, Fisher's Key Stop, AFCO, Burns Remodeling, Keith's Drywall, and Mayfield Competition Engines. It'll be Josh Harris in the K37. $17.267 on the line for Josh Harris. Out now, the 82N. He's out of Owensboro. It's from Border Motorsports, Warden Smith Motorsports, and Tony's Carts and Parts. It's Nick Tharp in the 82N. $17.068 on the lap for Nick Tharp. And the last car out of the car number 76M out of Central City, Kentucky, it's Joe Molosky in car number 76M. $19.769 on the lap for Joe Molosky. So, your fast qualifier tonight here at Cedar Ridge Speedway in the UMP Open Wheel Modifieds, car number 37L out of Cromwell, Kentucky, Rob Leach.